All right. Well, hello there. This is Euphoric Nation. Sorry about that. Um, all right. So tonight I'm going to be showing you how I put together my radio show, and yeah. So first of all, I've been doing Trance Paradise for about this will be episode 239 next week, and so it's almost 5 years coming up on pretty close. 4 years, 5 years. Can't count right now. And so at first, when it started, it was just an hour-long show, and I would mix it on some really old, really bad CDJs, and would submit it to Serenity FM. That was my first radio station, and then I started doing a more live format that you could actually watch me spin on CDJs in person. And so basically, the process has always been the same. I would spend time looking for tracks, picking out what I wanted to play, and then playing it at a certain time. And so most recently, since getting on After Hours FM, I started to put it all together in Ableton in a more professional format, I guess you could say. So I will show you exactly what I'm talking about. So I kind of put together in Recordbox, which is the program that I use to manage my library. So you can see it goes all the way back to Trance Paradise 70. That's when I started doing that. And basically, as I buy tracks, download tracks, and find them, I'll stick them in my library, which is pretty extensive. There's a lot in here. And then I'll create a playlist and then drag those into Ableton. So I created a sample playlist that I'll be using. And normally my process is I like to start at the slower BPMs. Tracks like, it might be even a little slower. So to give an example, the track that I started last week or 2 weeks ago with was this track here. So it's just got a nice little rhythm. It's usually a little happy to start off the show. And then I'll have a section where I will play some more harder beats, I like to say, or the Trance, whatever you want to call it, the harder trance style. So in this track, it's got that more driving bass, more dancey. I like to put in some vocals in the middle, and then I'll increase the BPM usually towards the second half of the show. So to follow the same mindset, I just picked out 10, 11 tracks, and I'll kind of do it the same way. So we'll start at this tune, which I really like a lot. It's a vocal track. And then we'll build our way all the way up to an uplifting track at the end, which has got some lovely melodies in it. Hands in the air moments. Alright, so I'll show you how I do it. So this is Ableton here, okay? And I have this little handy machine, which I'll kind of hold up, see if I can hold it up on. It's just a MIDI controller, MIDI piano, but it's got some knobs on it because I wanted to actually use my hands when I transition the songs. In Ableton, you can click the different points and bring out the bass, bring out the lows, bring out the mids, bring it in. But I do not like that. I prefer to have knobs that I can turn. So let's start it off here. So we'll take our first track, this Dennis, Kenzo, and Carey track, I believe, and we'll just drag it right in. And then I'll usually drag in the second track too. So I've got an above and beyond track. Alright. Alright, so this first track. So because I want to fit in as many tracks as I can within the hour, I usually will shorten the tracks or start at certain points that I feel will set the groove out right, and we'll have my introduction of voice too when I record the voiceovers. So for an example, this is the beginning of the track. Alright, well I'm not going to actually start there. So what I'll do is I'll start somewhere when the beat either comes in or at some transition point. So there would be a really good point then to start. So we're going to shorten the track up. Okay. Drag to the beginning. So now the show will start. So I'll have my little Trance Paradise introduction, liner, and then this will come in. So I think the vocals start right here where my mouse is. So really that leaves me 15 seconds to talk. Probably not enough time, so we'll extend it out a little bit more. Okay, so I got a better idea then here. We'll just we'll start it right here. There you go. So then it leaves me a little bit more room to talk. So I don't actually listen to the entire track usually when mixing or whatever because, well, I only have so much time to do it. So usually on Mondays I'll try to research tracks. I'll try to get a good start on it, do half the show. Tuesday I'll do the remainder of the show, and then Wednesday I'd record voiceovers if I'm being really inefficient. So usually the more time that I spend on researching the music, the less time I have to put it together. So it's just a fine balance. So anyway, so I already know how the breakdown sounds. Something I didn't show you is that within each track you actually have to warp it so that it knows the BPM that you're at. So that way when you mix in the next track, it can tell. So I'm going to warp from here straight at the beginning, kind of set where the first beat is, and I'm going to set it to 128 beats per minute. And then for me, I always use Complex Pro. This is the warp mode. So when you're changing the BPMs or you're telling the computer anyway how to read it, Complex seems to be the best in spinning it out the way that it's supposed to sound, I guess. So, alright. So, with this track, it's about 5 minutes, 45 seconds. So I usually try to do between 2.5 and 4 minutes each song. So, shouting out to Anthony, hello. Anyway. Okay, so I'll show you what I'm talking about here, okay? So this is a vocal section here, okay, and this is also a vocal section here. So sometimes I'll try to cut it. So I'll show you here what I'm doing. So this is just going to be experimenting, but you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Okay, so right there. Oh. Okay, so you can tell the timing is a little off there. So what I would do. So basically, what I'm doing is I'm trying to find a spot to cut the song out so that it's not playing the entire bit. So I'll show you. So that might seem natural enough just for this demonstration, but at that point then I would start to transition the next song, because as I was saying, I try to fit as many songs as I can within the hour, and so I usually fit in 16 in an hour. So now the next song would then start to transition. So we're gonna listen to that then. And I have to warp first, so I'll do that and set at the beginning beat. Oops. And notice how it sets it at 128.3, and having read it here, it's 128, so I know that that's wrong, so I will manually set it then. So it'll warp it as it's supposed to. Alright. So. Alright, so now it's lined up. Maybe. Probably not. So I'm zooming in to set the beat and trying to listen to it at the same time here. Okay, so at this point I have to decide whether I want to actually have it transition right here, So basically, my transition mode is that I know that it's starting to build up a little bit. Well, I'm counting in my head all the time. Those 4 beats, 16 beats. Boom, that's where I wanted to transition there. And so to line it up then, I would want the transition to happen right here on this track, where it builds up. So here, sorry, sometimes it repeats like that. Alright, so I'm going to move this over, and I'll show you what I'm doing here. Alright, so let's line it up. Alright. And now I'm going to cut the beginning of that track. Okay, so now with CDJs, you would normally have the volume down on this second track here, and you would also have the lows all the way out as well. And then you would slowly transition it. So the volume I have to set manually, but the mids and the lows I can use these knobs with to control. So that's the knob. So I'm going to set the volume. So I already have it preset, a little template. So the volume is right here, mids, then lows, same at the bottom here. And then this top line will be whatever I'm trying to control. So that's the mid. Now it changes to the low. Anyway. So volume, we're going to bring it in slowly. I'm going to have to come in probably right here at the full volume. Alright, and then I'm also going to turn the lows down on the second track. So this is what it sounds like now. Alright, so now I'm going to start to bring the mids out of the first track. And I'm going to have to actually do it again because I didn't hit record. My bad. Alright, so let's try again here. So when I hit record, it's going to start recording everything that I'm doing now on the controller. So this is how, I'm assuming this is how DJs would do this if they were actually doing it live. I have no idea. But so let's start to bring the lows out of the first track. And at that certain point, I'm going to transition fully the two lows. So there you go. Now the other one's in. Alright, so I'm going to stop now. And I'm going to, when I hit stop recording, it actually resets it to how I had it originally. So I'm going to tell it not to do that. Oops. Alright, so then after I've done it, then I actually re-listen to it to make sure it sounds right. So there you go. Then it's transitioned. And then I will usually bring the volume out of the first track, just slowly. Okay, so you get the point there. So this song is technically done right here, so I just kind of shorten it. Now, something to pay attention to is whenever you add this plugin called the EQ3, and that controls the highs, the mids, and the low. But when you add it, it actually makes the track louder for some reason. So you always have to make sure that you're turning down the volume. So anyway, and making sure that it's not going and redlining too much. So. Okay, so in that case, now, and again, people might disagree with that methodology, but because it's leading up here, it's a good point to start to transition, so I would cut out a lot of the song, actually. Um, so let's see how that sounds. Probably not where I wanted. Nope. So I think it's all the way over here that I want it to be. Yep, right there. So I'm just experimenting now where I want it to actually go. Yep, so right there. Okay. Okay, so basically what I did was I took the song starting at 3 minutes, ending at 5:20 or so, the transition point, and it basically allows it so you get the main vocal, you get the build up to it, and then it goes to the next song. So I don't know. It's good and it's bad because you're cutting out a lot of the meat of the song, but I mean it is radio, I guess you could say. So you want to pack as much in as you can. Anyway, so this is how it sounds then after it's all said and done. Lower that volume again. Alright. So, then we just bring in the next song and we just keep doing this over and over again. So I actually picked some older songs here. I was going through my library earlier, so see if you remember this one or not, maybe. So, because I hate going back and forth between the windows, and I have two monitors, so it's not that difficult usually, but I just will drag in a few more so I know what I'm doing here. My loud keyboard, sorry. Okay. So, here's the next song that I want to play. And there's no volume. That's awesome. So let's just turn it up a little bit here. And now it remembered my controller settings, so everything is basically low, and that's fine. Okay, so right here is where I wanted to transition, so I'm going to cut out usually probably a good portion of the track and have it start way here instead. So that sounds like it where it's supposed to be. Okay. So, you might ask, okay, what the heck did I just do? But when you've been listening to songs long enough, or when you've been DJing long enough, you know that every 16 beats something changes. And so, by listening to it, I knew that this is the start of the 16, or the end of it, I should say, and the start over. So, now that we have that point, we can adjust the volume to bring it in slowly. And then you'll hear the result here. Let's try that again. Alright, so at this point I'm going to start adjusting the mids then. So I'll start to bring in on the new track and start to bring out on the old track. And then I'm going to switch the bass or the lows again. Okay, so Now I did forget to warp this track, so I can already tell it sounds a little weird. So I'm just going to set it to 130, because that's what it is, and then Complex Pro again. Okay. So now this is the end result then. And the volume levels of each track are very different. So this one is actually a little bit quieter. So -4 is a little too quiet. Let's bring it up to like 1.5 or 1. Alright, good enough. Okay, so this is how the result sounds then. Volume's coming in there. So that's it, basically. Okay, so since this is repetitive here, then I'm probably going to cut that and have it start the breakdown there. And sometimes those cuts don't sound very natural. So it's some experimentation to see if it can sound natural or if there's just no hope. And sometimes it's just impossible to make it sound like how you want it to. We could see there if we can do it. Yeah. Okay, so one more time here. See how it sounds there. So let's see, I probably cut out, I cut out a good, I don't know, 15, 30 seconds or whatever. Now, since the BPM has raised to 130, I'm going to want to make sure that I am increasing it on this side because if you remember, I go from 130 at that point to 132 to 140, so... So this little bottom bar here controls the BPM. It's automated, so I'm going to increase it from 128 to 130 just by bringing the mouse up. Oops. Huh. Guess I did the wrong settings there. Sorry, 128 to 140. Alright, so if you watch this little meter here, it'll increase the BPM. There you go. 130 it is. right. So, as it starts to build up here, so in this case, because I'm kind of, I guess I cut a portion already, so let's see. 5 to 11. So yeah, I want to maintain the same energy level, so this brings it down quite a bit here. Especially when I'm going to go into a much more energetic track. So I'm going to see if I can try to... see if I can bring that in a little sooner here. Nope. So, oh, maybe. Let's see here. Meh. I'm just gonna butcher this on now. So, let's scratch that idea. And something else that I've been known to do too is to just actually start bringing in the song there. So let's try that once here. So this next song is actually one of my favorites right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and warp it again, like you do every track. Warp from here. Make it 132. Complex Pro again. And then we'll make sure it's lined up, but it sounds lined up. So it sounds like it's a cool transition already. So let's just see if it actually still mixes here. Because at this point I would start bringing out the mids, so it wouldn't be so strong. So at this point it would be full on then. So let's see if we can actually make that work. Alright, so we're going to bring the volume up to that high eventually, but not right away. And you can hear how it sounds. So the mids aren't that cut, so I'm not going to bring them in too hard yet. But probably at this point, yes. Okay, mids are all the way in. So I'm going to start to decrease the mids a little bit on the other side so you can hear more of the second song. Bring them out a lot more. And I'm going to go ahead and switch the lows then at that point. Alright, so let's actually go back and review what we did here. Okay, and because it does go into a more melodic breakdown, I'm actually going to bring the volume down just a little bit when it enters that point, so it sounds like that. Alright, so let's listen to it one more time here, okay? So I like that transition. So now I'm going to decrease the volume on the first track a little bit here, so it kind of fades out slightly. Just bring it up over there. Okay, now this part I have done before, where we start the breakdown basically right there. Okay. So to listen to that one more time here, it sounds natural in the part that I cut it at. Alright, we got the next track in. Now, I've been recording already for 30 minutes, and I transitioned 3 songs. So you can see how it does take some time to do this. So I'm not going to go and make a whole hour show. Probably just get us to 140 and then call it good. So a few more tracks probably. So this track is already out, so... And we're at 132 already. So I'll probably increase the BPM during this slight break here. Because you don't want to do it during beats, then you can tell it's pretty noticeable. So there you go. Didn't even know I increased the BPM now, did you? Okay, and I have to remember where I had transitioned this before, because I like this song after that one. Pretty sure I brought it in here. Yep. Yep, okay. So I do remember doing this from before. So I want this to line up exactly with this part here. You'll see. And then that's when the new song will start. Or would transition. So we're gonna edit again. Or excuse me, warp it. Complex Pro. And we're gonna line it up to make sure it's lined up right. Alright. So now we're gonna record, and since the start of the song is right here, we're probably going to start transitioning it here, so it sounds more natural. So we'll bring the full volume in by here. Okay, so now I'm going to record my my transitions. Alright, so time to bring out the first one. And bring in the second one for the mids. There you go. Now it's fully in. Fixing these parts again. Alright, so this is the only annoying part, is going back and forth and listening to it over and over again, but you want to make sure it sounds good, so alright, transition point coming up soon. I feel like I'm off, so let me listen again here. Make sure. No, that's right. Oh, I am off. Feel like it's right there. Should be. Come on. Nope, I was on the first time. Because I'm recording it, it's slightly delayed. It's not using my actual, anyway, it's not using the right audio card, so. So yeah, so now that this is in, then I can slowly bring this song out. There you go. Now you can see I'm redlining quite a bit on that song, so I'm going to need to go ahead and turn that down a little bit. Wow, that is really loud. Okay, well there's no good room, there's no good place to cut it early there, so we're just going to let that play out. And in the meantime, we're going to bring in our other track. Hopefully you'll like this one as well. Stupid Windows 10. But we're going to be at 138 here pretty soon, so... So yeah, Heatbeat has those longer breakdowns, so... Okay, I just want to check out something here. Okay, so we're actually going to cut this whole part out. Okay. Alright, you'll see what I'm doing here. Oops. Ah, I'm one off. So I'm just adjusting it so it sounds a little more natural. I don't know what that one random noise is, actually. just really strange. I don't know what that is, but... Oh well, it's just an example we're doing anyway. Ah, that's why. It's picking up part of that. Oh well. Alright. Drag this next part in. Just typing away. Clickety clackety. Okay. So now this next song I know. I like it a lot, actually. It starts off kind of slower, so... So as I'm coming off a higher energy track, that's the whole point of starting it way later. Because if you were to just start it here and where it would transition, you have this energy level. Alright. Very driving bass. And then when I would transition, it would go to this. Well, once we had the mids and highs turned up. But you can just tell it's a really more melodic track, and so I'm going to have to find a better way to transition that. So let me just warp my stuff. So let's find out where I can start it. Okay, that's where the vocals come in. Okay. Alright, so this is going to be a tough one. But that's our transition point. So boom. So let's bring it, and let's see how we can do this here once. I have no idea how this is going to sound, so sorry. Yeah, that's not going to be the best transition, but... Okay. Well, we'll just do the best we can on it, dear. That's all you can do. And then we'll record our mids here. It's probably the best you're gonna get on that one. Yeah, it's kind of a cool little transition spot. I'll show you why here. So let's listen again. So yeah, I don't know. For me, that's kind of a cool little transition because it builds it up adequately, and then you can tell it's changing once the volume comes down on this next track here. So I'm satisfied with it. So I wonder if we can transition there, or see if we can get part of this out here. Boom. Ah. Let's try it again. Almost. Actually, I think I'm a little off here on this side because it's more of a drum roll there. I feel like I'm so close. Somewhere. That could work. Let's try it one more time here. You wanted to cut out at a good spot, so. The drum kind of throws it off because you're like anticipating something and like, oh, what's coming up? And then it just dies. If I bring in the drummer a little bit back. Ah. I will get it, I swear. Man, it's like the beat. Ah. It's like the drum roll is too close to the beat. Do 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 boom. No, sir, I'm not liking it. Ah, it's so annoying. Make it stop. Okay, I have an cool idea. That didn't work. Alright, I'm giving up on that. Stupid song, you're stupid. I really wanted to break down there. Meh. Well, we can always cut the end out, right? So. God, I love this song. It's old. Older, I should say. We forgot to increase those BPMs there in the middle. So I'll just do that because I know it's going to work. Let's see if I can cut part of the song out here. This probably isn't going to sound the best either. Fail, fail, epic fail. Oh, I think I found the spot, sort of. Got the double drum roll, so that's a good sign. Yeah, there you go. Alright, so one more time, hear how it sounds. And I could clean it up a little bit because it sounds a little choppy, but looks like it's off a little bit. Yeah, it's a little better. There we go. Alright, so then it's time to bring in the next song. Alright, now the goal of this was to end at 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So yeah, that's about right, because I can fit 16 in an hour. So, with only 2 tracks, this is the problem I run into, where it's like, you know, I only get 2. So what do I want? And see, the important part to me is it's all about creating the mood, so I would definitely want to... You can't just DJ by throwing in random tracks. It just doesn't work. And even if you are DJing live, as in you don't have your tracks picked out ahead of time, which I've done plenty of times, so there's been always controversy that you can't do that anymore in today's day and age. But mostly, you just have to be prepped. You have to be prepped. You have to know what your options are and what you can play to make that sound that you want, if that makes any sense at all. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Alright, let's go back to the mixing here. So, I figure I can go vocal to uplifting, or I can go vocal to harder to uplifting. So my options are, I'm ending on this track, So I can go to this one, which seems to kind of fit the mood also. This one is what I want to... This one's a lot harder, a lot more driving, so I'd either want to end on that, or I'd want to end uplifting. Yeah, I think this Dark Fusion track is going to be good. And then I can end on Through Spirit. So, let's delete those. So I've got Dark Fusion, and I'm going to bring in that other one so I have it. Alright, let's stop that from playing, please. Okay. So, because we cut out a portion, we're going to need to go ahead and cut part of this out too then here. So perhaps right here will be good. Yeah. So we'll bring the volume in slower. And I did forget to warp it, sorry. So I gotta do that real quick here. So straight, and then Complex Pro again. Oops, that volume is way too quiet. So I could either go with the transition to go here, or I could do it so that it lines up with this. So let's just record this so you can see what it sounds like. A little bit of a quicker transition there. That's still enough time to transition, I think, anyway. And because they're different keys, it doesn't sound the best, so there are ways to fix that so that you can make it sound how you want to. Okay, well, that's adequate enough for me. So let's listen to it one more time here. Yeah, that's good. So I lowered the volume just slightly. And this volume I can bring up a little more because it's still too quiet. That's also another DJ tip. You don't want the volumes to be mismatched, because if I had this down to here when it transitioned, it wouldn't be loud enough, and it sounds very bad. Alright, so now I can bring the volume out of this slowly. Still quiet, so let's turn it up. Alright, so this original track is actually a 138 is what it's supposed to be, and this was 134. So hopefully it doesn't sound too weird when I bring it up to 138. We'll find out though. Yeah, usually on the breakdowns you don't tell so much that you can't tell so much that the BPMs are changing. Oh, so good. Alright, if I did that, then I would never get done. So we're at 1 hour already, and we've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about to do our 8th. So you can see where it can take some time, especially if you are busy playing around on the transition points or trying to figure out where to cut it a little bit better. Is what I meant to say. So, let's see here. So honestly, I do like to transition. I like to leave more of the song in during the faster songs. That's just my personal preference. Because I feel like it leaves the trancier parts in. So we're going to start transitioning right here. Alright, so a little insider info. I either like to end uplifting because it creates that mood of, well, it's a happiness factor. But I also sometimes like to end on a harder hitting track because then it leaves you wanting more. And yeah. So, yes, I do torment people on purpose. But it's fun. Alright, I'm probably going to cut part of this because I wanted to transition here, and this seems like a better spot because there's more. So yeah, it definitely has more percussion, which is good, but I want it to be like boom, boom, right there. And I also forgot to warp it, sorry. I always do that. And you can hear subtly that it's not warped. It just doesn't sound very good when you don't do that. Alright. So, I'm just going to cut part of that out. Oops. Start here. I think that's what I wanted to do. Now, something else I have to remember too is if I'm oh, how nice. Let's just take care of something real quick here. Woohoo! That was fun. Okay, just some spam bots in the chat. It's always a good time. Alright, so I want to bring in the volume a little bit sooner. And it doesn't sound lined up the best. There you go. See if that's even on. Nope, I'm off by one beat. we go. That's where I wanted it to be. Alright, so the last transition shall be this. Alright. So we're bringing the mids on this song here. Alright, so let's go back and clean that up just a little bit here. Okay, so let's listen to it again. Out a little late, so I'll have to fix that real quick while it's working. There you go. Also gonna change this so it comes out there. So I was off on my timing, whoopsie. And then we'll bring out the volume in this too. Okay, now the only problem with this song is that I have to be out at about 29:30 or so, because in a normal hour show you need to leave 30 seconds for the end and for the talking. So this would probably not be the best point to end as I'm talking over it either. That's going to be the end. So, and this is the whole breakdown, pretty much 2 minutes long, so that's not going to work either. So what we can do is we can cut out the little intro part here when it breaks down. So it'll sound something like this. Just a little bit. Or we can do it right over here. Or over here even. Line it up correctly, obviously. Ah, so close. Oops. That should actually be over here, I think. Yeah, sounds better. Let's try that again. And again, we're just cutting out little bits and pieces to match the timing, because I've only got a little bit of time left. Yep, that sounds more natural. Didn't even know it happened. So now to break down, got some uplifting parts there. It's really loud. So I'm just setting myself to be able to talk when there's a beat. No, it's too much of a change, so I'm just gonna have to leave it as it is, which is fine. So then I would start talking there. Alright, so basically that is it. That's making the show. And then we'll have to record some voiceovers, so let's work on that next year. But first, I'm just gonna verify that my volumes are all good here. So I don't know why that's 3.2. Now I do have a limiter on the master so that if it catches a little bit above, it won't mess it up too bad. And then I do bring it down 6 and then make it louder in the export, so. Alright, I'm not too concerned about that transition. This one was pretty good too. I just think cutting this part was, I was a little... Well, that sounded okay. So as I was saying in the beginning, I usually spend 3 days making this, and because I want to make sure that it's quality, I'll try to have it done Tuesday so that I can listen to it throughout the day Wednesday, catch any errors or any volume imbalances, and then fix those before I do the voiceovers. So let's just make sure again that these transition volumes make sense here. And then the cutting of it sounds okay. Yep, I knew that one did. And I know this volume does, because I already knew that transition. It's such a loud song. Yeah, I'm not a really big fan of that one, but I do like that though, quite a bit. Volumes are okay. And this song is quite loud. So we'll just do minus 1.5 on that one. Well, why is this going down like that? Interesting. Let's try that again. Minus 2.5. See, now it's a little too quiet. I mean, you'd rather have it a little bit over, honestly. Because it'll pick it up in the we're leaving yourself some room anyway, so. Yeah. Okay. So, now I'm gonna save it. And we'll just call this Trance Paradise 238.5. Alright, and then I usually, so I'll export it, and I'll do -6 to leave myself some room, and I'll show you what I do here. So export, okay. Wave files. Alright, 0.5 wave. Alright, we'll let it export. This is the fun and exciting part of the night. Check your phone. See what important things you're missing in the world, which is usually nothing. Clash of Clans, annoying me as usual. Ugh. Need to uninstall that game is what I need to do. Okay, so while this is going, from my experience, when you're rendering, well, it's never good to just take this project and then add your voice onto it. I find that exporting it and then dragging it into a new project works the best, because then you can manipulate it better. Not only can you position your clips and all that better, but you can also I want to say on the master, you can adjust that easier. You want to leave yourself some headroom, so then you want to bring the volume back up, if that makes any sense. So I'll show you when it's done. Hungry. Haven't eaten dinner yet. Okay, so it's all done. So now I'm going to open. So I had a MIDI template set up so that it could detect my knobs that I'm turning, and then I also have a voiceover setup. Oh, now it's not gonna like me. Maybe. Oh, I know. Shoot. I don't know if that's gonna work. Oh, I guess it did work. I don't know why it gave me that error. Okay, so this is the last radio show that I had in, so I'm going to delete and bring in the new one. So I need to go to my Y drive. Nope, lied. E drive. Ugh. I don't even know where I keep my stuff. Alright, and now I'm going to drag in that WAV file, the 0.5 one that I did. There it is. Put it in the middle. And it's going to try to warp it, and I'm going to tell it not to warp because it'll mess up the BPM. Now this one is usually set up for an hour radio show, so basically I can just remove these liners and just drag everything else over to the end. Okay, so hopefully this isn't too loud. Now, since I did decrease the volume on this, I'm going to go ahead and increase it again. So we'll do +6, max it out. So let's see if this is really loud or not. Nope.
Trance Paradise. Your escape from reality.
Get crazy! It's your fourth nation!
You're listening to Trance Paradise with Euphoric Nation. Euphoric Nation. Euphoric Nation.
3, 2, 1.
Okay, so here's how it would sound when I adjusted it.
2, 1.
Start just another second.
2, 1.
So there you go. I like that start. Now, let's see how much time that I have to talk. Okay. So I have to be out. Okay, so really I only have this portion to talk. So now I have the mic already set up and ready to read. So let's see if it actually works or not. And I'll just record a sample section here. So let's see. Yep. So I tried to record on the fly, and I tried to be really energetic. Well, it's gone both ways. So as you've been watching me, I talk in just a, I don't want to say monotone voice, but I usually talk in blow ends so I'm not like really, hey, how's it going? But for radio voice, you want to have more of a you want to sound natural but an uplifting presence. So instead of hey there, this is great music for you to listen to. It's like, hey, we've got some great music for you to check out tonight. So yeah, so I try to. Well, you can judge me here. So basically, what I usually would say is, welcome to Trance Paradise, episode whatever it is. Great music for you tonight. I'm going to start you off with this track. So I'm going to actually drag this to my other window so I can see it, read it. And the mic should pick me up loud enough because I've got it set up differently. But so yeah, let's just try it once. So we'll say something like, hello there, welcome to Trance Paradise, episode 238.5, with your host, Euphoric Nation. I've got an awesome episode for you tonight as I'm presenting to you, and then I mess it up because I'm like, what do I say? So you can experience what I do anyway. It's embarrassing. Let's try again. Hello there, and welcome to Trance Paradise, episode 238.5, with your host, Euphoric Nation. Recording a special episode tonight, only a half an hour, as I've been preparing it online with Twitch users. Basically, and I'm rambling. Darn it. Let's see here. This is probably what takes me a whole nother day is to figure out what I want to say. So I try not to script it too much, but, it's... got a good episode for you tonight. Only a half hour this week. Oh yeah, that's what I want to say. As normally, After Hours doesn't air. Shows on the 5th Thursday of the month. Yeah, so I could say something like, I've given, so instead I recorded live video of me putting the episode together. Yeah, something like that. Now, what's funny is if you watch Above and Beyond, they will type everything out that they say. Because I've seen it even on their ABGT, there we go, broadcasts. And then it seems like Armin, he doesn't have a script. So, yeah. I think if I was under pressure and I was talking to people and they were there, it would just sound more naturally. But because I'm by myself talking and roommates can hear me, I don't know. It's so weird. Anyway, so let's try it again. And it's still recording in the background, so that's fine. Hey, what's up? This is Euphoric Nation, or no, I want to say, hello there. Welcome to another exciting episode of Trance Paradise. I'm your host, Euphoric Nation, and you're listening to episode 238.5. I've got an interesting episode for you tonight. Only a half an hour this week, as normally After Hours doesn't air shows on the 5th Thursday of the month. So instead, I recorded live video of me putting this episode together for Twitch users. So with that, let's get started with this Dennis Kenzo and Kari track called Be a Dreamer. Hope you enjoy. Good enough. All right. So I seem to get in the groove the more so usually I mess up quite a bit on the first one. Just saying. And it's pretty quiet because I'm so far away from the mic. But I've had to turn it up. Oh, I don't want to do that. But I had to turn it up quite a bit so that Twitch could pick it up. So we can always correct it on the back end here. So I'll show you what I'm doing here. Recording in the background, so that's fine. Hey, what's up? This is Euphoric Nation, or no, I want to say, hello there. Welcome to another exciting episode of Trance Paradise. I'm your host, Euphoric Nation, and you're listening to episode 238.5. I've got an interesting episode for you tonight. Only a half an hour this week, as normally. Interesting episode for you tonight. Only a half an hour this week. As normally After Hours. So then I'm adjusting where my talking points are, where I messed up, to make it sound more natural. I've got an interesting episode for you tonight, only a half an hour this week, as normally After Hours doesn't air shows on the 5th Thursday of the month. So instead, I recorded live video of me putting this episode together for Twitch users. So with that, let's get started with this Dennis Kenzo and Kari track called Be a Dreamer. Hope you enjoy. Alright, perfect. So, that's going to go right here, and it's quite a bit quieter. I also warped it by accident, so I'm going to have to undo that. Hope it doesn't mess up my other clip. I've got an interesting episode for you tonight, only a half an hour this... Alright, so, since it is extremely quiet, I'm going to have to increase the volume. Ugh. Hopefully it doesn't mess up. I've got an interesting episode for you tonight, only a half an hour this week. Alright, so this is how it does sound then. Whoops. Hello there, welcome to another exciting episode of Trance Paradise. I'm your host, Euphoric Nation, and you're listening to episode 238.5. I've got an interesting episode for you tonight, only a half an hour this week, as normally After Hours doesn't air shows on the 5th Thursday of the month. So instead, I recorded live video of me putting this episode together for Twitch users. So with that, let's get started with this Dennis Kenzo and Kari track called Be a Dreamer. Hope you enjoy.
After Hours FM. After Hours FM.
And there you go. And of course I gotta adjust the volume so it comes back in a little sooner. Enjoy.
After Hours FM. After Hours FM. They say I'm a dreamer. Is it so wrong to keep your ideals high? I'm a believer. You won't make it if you never try. In the dark, we can grow.
Okay, so I'm gonna play it again just one more time to make sure that I'm make sure that it's coming out right. Hello there, welcome to another exciting episode of Trance Paradise. I'm your host, Euphoric Nation, and you're listening to episode 238.5. I've got an interesting episode for you tonight, only a half an hour this week, as normally After Hours doesn't air shows on the 5th Thursday of the month. So instead, I recorded live video of me putting this episode together for Twitch users. So with that, let's get started with this Dennis Kenzo and Kari track called Be a Dreamer. Hope you enjoy.
After Hours FM. After Hours FM.
And there you go.
They say I'm a dreamer.
Okay, so normal standard radio shows, you try to put liners in once in a while to remind people of what they're listening to, or if they tuned in a little later. So this track here,
Lose yourself in the music. Trance Paradise.
not really about halfway through, so let's try this over here. Yeah.
Lose yourself in the music. Trance Paradise.
So I need this to end by 30. just fixing my other pointer, sorry. There we go. Okay. Ooh, I hear an airplane. Nope, maybe it's just my ears. Okay. Oops, sorry. Okay, so the show does end at 30 minutes. It would normally end at 60, but that's pretty good there. So, so that might be a good place to talk, so we'll just switch it up here. So then at this point, at the end of the show, I'm just saying, you know, thanks for tuning in. Hope you had a good time, something like that. Maybe there'd be a good time for announcements or what's going on, so. So let's see how this would sound, huh? So I'm gonna say something like, hello there. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Trance Paradise. You've been listening to episode 238.5 with your host, Euphoric Nation. Next week, we'll be back to the regularly scheduled programming, which includes 1 hour shows. No, see, I don't like that. Hello there. You're listening to Trance Paradise episode 238.5 with your host, Euphoric Nation. Unfortunately, we've come to the end of tonight's episode, and I hope you enjoyed it. It's a little bit shorter than maybe what you're used to, but definitely played some music. Oh, darn it. I don't know what to say. Hello there. You've been listening to Trance Paradise episode 238.5 with your host, Euphoric Nation. Hope you guys had a great time tonight. I definitely had a lot of fun putting this together with the other Twitch users, and I'll make sure to upload this on YouTube as well. But in the meantime, hope you guys have a great night, and we'll see you next week. And I was told by a friend, you don't ever see anybody on radio. You'll catch them next time, or you'll... so we'll re-record that to say. But in the meantime, we'll catch you next week. Take care. Good enough for me. Alright, so now we'll edit that and throw it in there. So quiet. So show you. Hello there, you've been listening to Trance Paradise episode 230.5 with your host, Euphoric Nation. Hope you guys had a great time tonight. Stop it. Definitely had a lot of fun putting this together with the other Twitch users, and I'll make sure to upload this on YouTube as well. But in the meantime, hope you guys have a great night, and we'll see you next week. Alright, that was my we'll see you next week. But in the meantime, we'll catch you next week. Take care. Alright. We're almost to the end. Alright, let's hear how it sounds again. So I think I messed up one more. Hello there, you've been listening to Trance Paradise, episode 238.5, with your host, Euphoric Nation. Hope you guys had a great time tonight. I definitely had a lot of fun putting this... I definitely had a lot of fun putting this together. Alright, I think it's here to here. A great time tonight with the other Twitch users, and I'll make sure to upload this on YouTube as well. Alright. So actually I don't need to go out so soon since I have just a very short clip. So we'll put that there, and we'll have the voice come down a little bit later. See what I'm talking about here. Hello there, you've been listening to Trance Paradise, episode 238.5, with your host, Euphoric Nation. Hope you guys had a great time tonight. I definitely had a lot of fun putting this together with the other Twitch users, and I'll make sure to upload this on YouTube as well. But in the meantime, we'll catch you next week. Take care. And then it'll end. Next week. Take care.
Trance Paradise.
Alright, so let's just, let's listen to it again. Hello there, you've been listening to Trance Paradise, episode 238.5, with your host, Euphoric Nation. Hope you guys had a great time tonight. I definitely had a lot of fun putting this together with the other Twitch users, and I'll make sure to upload this on YouTube as well. But in the meantime, we'll catch you next week. Take care.
Trance Paradise.
Kind of see it ends really fast, so could have more of a fade out. So let's just extend this a little bit over, and then we'll have this fade out gradually, I guess. Next week, take care. Next week, take care.
Trance Paradise. Just heard Trance Paradise with Euphoric Nation.
Next week, take care.
Trance Paradise.
I guess that's better.
You've just heard Trance Paradise with Euphoric Nation
as well. But in the meantime, we'll catch you next week. Take care.
Trance Paradise.
Yeah, I definitely like that a lot better. So then we end still under 30, or like 29:59. So I'm just gonna save this as a new file. All right. So I'll just verify one more time.
Trance Paradise. Your escape from reality.
Get crazy! It's your voice nation!
You're listening to Trance Paradise with Euphoric Nation. Euphoric Nation. Euphoric Nation.
3, 2, 1.
Hello there, welcome to another exciting episode of Trance Paradise. I'm your host, Euphoric Nation, and you're listening to episode 238.5. I've got an interesting episode for you tonight, only a half an hour this week, as normally After Hours doesn't air shows on the 5th Thursday of the month. So instead, I recorded live video of me putting this episode together for Twitch users. So with that, let's get started with this Dennis Kenzo and Kari track called Be a Dreamer. Hope you enjoy.
After Hours FM. After Hours FM.
That sounds good. Alright, and then in the middle, as I said, I threw in one of my little liners.
Lose yourself in the music. Trance Paradise.
Which is fine. And now at the end, we'll just make sure it sounds okay.
After Hours.
Hello there, you've been listening to Trance Paradise, episode 238.5, with your host, Euphoric Nation. Hope you guys had a great time tonight. I definitely had a lot of fun putting this together with the other Twitch users, and I'll make sure to upload this on YouTube as well. But in the meantime, we'll catch you next week. Take care. Alright, so people complain, or I've heard feedback that where I say with the other Twitch users that I talk too low. It's always a work in progress, so. And that's it. So, we shall export. And we'll save it as a wave here. So, normally I submit to after hours. But I will not, because this is just for you guys. And then I also do submit to a couple other radio stations, and I also put it on my iTunes as well. So actually, I'm just going to do all of that tonight, so you'll get to see the full process. Why not? Because we're only at about an hour and 43, so it shouldn't take more than 15 minutes to get all that up. Then you can see from start to finish everything that goes into this. Alright, so that's going to come out here. And as I said before, I'm really taking a risk, so to say, because I normally listen to it like 70 times before uploading it. Just to make sure it sounds good. Because I want to make sure the quality's there, so. Alright. Ableton's done. Go away, Ableton. Computer's gonna blow up anytime here. I see the well, I'm blaming it on Windows 10, so go away. Okay, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna convert that to an MP3. So I use this little lame plugin, it's kinda cool. And voila. Just a lot of rendering, a lot of waiting. 'Tis the life. Say hi to the new people. To the new peeps. Do 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 do. Almost there. You can do it. Come on. You're almost there. Wow. Okay, and then I'll usually rename it to 38.5. Oh, okay. So, now that I've got that there, going to go ahead and bring over my, actually I just want Chrome. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. Alright, let's go to SoundCloud, shall we? People liking my stuff, that's pretty cool. What is this? Ooh. I do like video game music, so I'll have to check that out later. Alright, so usually I have a little format that I always kind of put everything at, or you know, copy and paste it so that it's universal. Alright, so we'll upload something new. And we're going to go to my eDrive, Fork Nation, project files, original exports. There it is. Trarb? The heck is that? Alright. Now, this is where it can get annoying, so sorry. But usually I include the track list so that people know what they're listening to. So, some of the tracks are already in there. So you can hear me type all this out. It's so exciting. Yeah, I don't think I have the rest in there. Mike Shiver and Matthias Leitola, Slacker, which was one of my favorite songs when it came out. Slacker in general was, I think, back in what, 2013 maybe? 2012? It just has a lot of emotions to it. I can't really see if anybody's talking to me, so sorry. Okay. Meyer Levy's Big Room remix. Back when Big Room was cool. For and seriously, I don't know how to say the dude's name. Tempo Guisto? I don't know. But I've been following that guy for a long time, and he makes seriously killer music. Like, I need to get every single track that he makes. Marcus Schultz remix did that one. Almost done with the typing. Featuring Amy Kirkpatrick. And I love her voice too, so she's been on my radar lately. Will Atkinson. Through Spirit. And that's it. And then I will save. Oh yeah, I usually let people download it too. Oh, so then at the beginning, I will say recorded live, or let's see how. Put together on Ableton and recorded live for Twitch users. After Hours doesn't air shows on the 5th Thursday of the month. So I go away, CC Cleaner. Decided to show people behind the scenes how I record my radio show. Check my YouTube channel to see the replay. Hopefully that works. Alright, so I'm going to save. And now it's up. And then I'll spam my social media later, because that's always really fun to do for people. And then I'll put it in my spotlight so it'll show up when you see the page. It's like, oh wow, look, something new. Hope you guys aren't bored yet, but we're getting into the end anyway, so. Alright, so that is done. And then I'll also put it on my website, because that connects to iTunes, which is where I get the majority of my downloads, actually, believe it or not. So just to compare, I'll show you an example. Now this is just in a week's time, but the last episode, 238, had 50 plays on SoundCloud, 255 on iTunes, so one episode had 512. So it seems like people download equally or more on iTunes, so I tried to throw it up on here too. And I did not upload, so I should do that quick, hold on. Because it shows the IP address, I'm not going to show you that. So this will just take a second, sorry. There it is. It'll take literally like a minute to upload because my computer's, or my internet speed is really fast here. Alright, so I'm going to post new. Post my track list. Trance Paradise 238. 238.5. And then I do track all of my stats through Blueberry. I don't know, it just seems to be the easiest for me. So it has a weird link whenever you click on it. It's almost done. And I'm almost at the 2-hour mark, so it's perfect. Perfect! Alright, it was finished, so I'm going to rename it Trance Paradise 238.5. So now that I renamed it on the server, this should automatically be able to detect that. Oh, how dare you. Oh, it's because I named it wrong, that's why. Let's try again. Woohoo! Alright, so when I publish, it should show up on iTunes pretty quick actually. And that's it. So if you're curious, or if you're watching this and you want to learn more, I made a little short link, bit.ly/en iTunes. That'll bring you right to the Euphoric Nation iTunes page or whatever. It's not showing up yet, but it should soon. And then feel free to follow me, soundcloud.com, Euphoric Nation. Facebook, I'm on there too. Euphoric Nation. I don't know. It's just spamming myself for you. Alright. But yeah, feel free to post questions below when you watch this later. Be happy to answer anything. But otherwise, that is it for me. I'm signing off. 2 hours. Successfully did it. Yes. Oh, man. It's been a long week. But thank you to everybody that tuned in. I appreciate it. But for now, we'll see you later. And yes, you will see me on camera. Bye-bye now. Bye. Hurry up, find the end button. End it.